Hello.
Hello.
We are testing some kind of new hangouty, chilly stuff. Happy times. This should be fun and exciting. So what we are doing is we're essentially going to be kind of building characters as we are online, various ideas that we've had or prompts that I will be giving, depending on what these two lovely gentlemen have decided to sign up for and not really know what's happening here. So we're just going to kind of run through who we are and maybe some ideas we have or, you know, what's going on here. So I usually start with myself, but I'm going to switch the script. And Nenners looks very busy, so I'm going to call on him to stop thinking and start introducing himself. So hi, Nenners.
You are so rude. Hi, I'm Nenners. Nennario. Nenners, pretty much, most of the time. I am here to create characters, which is something I would argue I'm quite prolific at. I wouldn't say good, but I can make a lot. So
I would say you're good. Get the fuck out of here, Nennis.
I got some ideas already.
Appreciate you.
And I got a ton of questions for Foos, but
Mhm.
that will come in the next few minutes. Without further ado, I will toss it over to the Booty Master.
What they call me. Well, what I expected to be called, but I'm into it. Hi, I'm Joe. I'm sometimes hanging out here on Foos' channel, just the Foos Network. I do want to say, calling this the hangouty, chilly, happy fun time would have been a way cooler title than Build With Me. I'm just saying. It's a little wordy, but...
You know what? You know what really pissed me off? Nenners said something like off the cuff, and I was like, that's so good. Like, I think I made that layout last night at like 2 a.m. So I was like, I don't care. I'm just gonna make a thing. And then I was like, if I had more time, this would have been way cooler, but we'll just figure it out.
It's epic because it's us and we're here.
Character creation station.
I will say I make characters more days than I don't make characters. So
yeah, there you go.
It's definitely something I hang out and do by myself. So it's more fun to do it with friends. Also, check out Spell Logic. We may or may not be. I don't do Sundays at 8. That's the time. 8 p.m. Eastern. And also Friday. They have another campaign that I'm not in, but is equally excellent.
Equally excellent.
Check them out.
And then Foos. You went last this time, so say things.
I did. It's so unusual, but I'm very happy to be here.
It's not unusual.
There we go. This is going to be great, let me tell you. I'm Foos. I rope pretty much all my friends and family into doing things that they may be slightly interested in, maybe super interested in. But these two, I'm so glad that are here and going to be doing some silly things with me. But I DM on Saturdays for difficult terrain, and on Fridays I am traumatized and tortured by Nenners, as he is the DM there, and he has the darkest campaign. He didn't take the moment to, shout me out, so I'm gonna take this moment to shout him out because he missed his opportunity. Yeah, that's me. I'm Foos, and we're gonna start doing some stuff.
I was gonna call you out, but I remembered I did a 3-shot with Nenners where there were bombs inside people's brains. But my only real experience in your main campaign, I haven't been in his main campaign. Definitely murdered a dude for no reason. Like, he fully complied with what we needed. But I was mad. Did.
Yeah, and like that was the correct response. Which, once again, for those of you who were there, like, Joe absolutely killed it last session.
That wasn't the point. But
I know, but I'm gonna take a moment to shout you out because I fucking threw him in with very little notice with a shit ton of lore and background, and he came in and knocked it out of the park. So thank you very much. That was such a good time. And
looking forward to it. Come back not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the Saturday after.
Yeah, exactly. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. We'll be back then, and it'll be fun. And you should join us because it's fun.
Most stuff.
So yeah, Buckley, I just noticed for some reason.
Oh, it was in the waiting screen.
Yeah, I know, but here it's not showing up.
Well, you mean on this very clearly intended for chat space?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why. So I'm going to fuck with that a little bit because I don't know why it's not showing up. Which is great because everything else it's likely going to be working except for that. Anyway, actually, I will adjust as we are kind of getting set up.
Well, you can do that. Nenners has questions.
Nenners does have questions, but one of the things I wanted to mention just real quick is this background map is by an artist that I've followed for a very, very long time. They're one of my favorites, and I'll probably never use this art, like this particular map, but I think it's so beautiful that I just wanted to keep it in the background. I think it's amazing. I'm actually gonna list the creator. I always want to say Sylph, but it's Sliph. SLIPH, and they're on Patreon, and they I don't know, their maps are like criminally cheap. I don't know why they're so low. And they don't advertise at all, and I don't know why. It's amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of have a nice visual in the background, and because I don't have a ton of cathedral excuses to be there, I was like, here it is in the background. So yes, then there's some questions at me while I get that link in the description, and also try and fix the chat. because I don't know why it's not working.
Okay, so I guess my first question, obviously, and I don't think we settled it, but what level were we shooting for?
I think I'm gonna side with Joe's suggestion of 10, because I did want it to be high enough for multi-class, and my brain was originally kind of going for like 12-ish, but 10's probably fine. So
I mean, I'll tell you when I make characters. I said it previously, but other people weren't listening, so I'll say it again. I shoot for 10 because it's enough room for multi-class, but then sometimes I'm like, okay, well, really, I need 6 and 5, so 11, fine. I think it's fine to be loosey goosey with it. If a level or two would get you like at the sweet spot of the multi-class, then we'll play by ear. But yeah, I usually build to 10 and then just figure out, okay, this is my final ratio. If this guy goes to 20, what the levels would split out as.
Yeah. All right. So we got 10th. What are we talking about? Like, what are we thinking about in terms of realms? What are we? In
terms of realms, are you saying like, are you thinking?
We gotta have a backstory with the character. And I don't want to be like, well, he's slinking around Greyhawk with Melf, and he found down a hole.
Oh, that's an interesting proposition. Normally, I don't have a realm.
I didn't know what your thoughts were because I didn't want to.
Honestly, I'm very much right now of the mindset of like, if you had a character bubbling around in your brain and you just wanted to like get it out, this is your opportunity too. So if you want restrictions, I will absolutely give you some.
Okay.
But if your Greyhawk stuff, and you're like, I want that, you can do that.
I'm not terribly passionate about Greyhawk. I was just doing something other than favorite.
As an example.
Yeah. The last question I have, and this kind of ties into, I know the D&D community has obviously been reeling from the OGL stuff, and one of the big pushes, the beneficial ones, is that they've been all like, hey, let's check out third-party stuff, because that's kind of what they're trying to cut out. So that being said, were you open to third-party stuff in terms of like the custom subclasses and things from reputable sources? What were your ideas about that?
I enjoy the reputable sources thing. I mean, we kind of have experimented with that as well. And it also kind of gives us an opportunity to shout other people out also. So I am cool with anything like that. Okay. If you want, we could talk about that. And then again, that way we can kind of like shout them out and be like, check out this guy's stuff. It's really, really cool. So, in the combination with Sliff, I use Griffin Saddlebag for a lot of magic items.
Yes.
Especially like you guys have seen a shit ton. Or even sometimes I'll take something and sort of tweak it a little bit more to be something that fits the group better or the character better. And I love his stuff so much. He's amazing. I do love your background. It's amazing. I am going to.
If you're shouting people out, I would say I use.
If you can, put their links in the chat so we can.
Oh, one that I think from an art perspective, this guy Sinlair, I think is his name. I'm totally probably butchering it. Hold on, follow him on Patreon. I have to go sign in. That's him. Redonkulous artist, like just stuff. You're just like, what the hell? I didn't think that was possible.
How is this possible?
But you'll be seeing some of his stuff very soon in my campaign, depending on how long they take to get through the doorbell. I imagine it won't take.
Can we talk about that doorbell real quick? Actually, Nenners.
Yeah, sure.
Darkest campaign again. Nenners is just making sure he's there. So the doorbell to a city.
Well, it's not really a doorbell. It's just what the Archfey called it. But yeah.
You know what? You describe it. Go ahead and describe this not doorbell.
Okay. So
I feel like you're downplaying it, but I'm gonna describe it all.
So as far as they can tell, like if you're just a layman and you have no idea what Darksun is, you see what looks like a woman with some questionable physical traits in terms of like bone structure and stuff, who's been absolutely impaled onto the back of a wall with a giant kind of obsidian-looking spear, who is writhing with all kinds of arcane kind of energies and lightning going across her, and she's in absolute agony pretty much 100% of the time. The only time she's not is when she's forced to kind of open the way into what they are assuming is New Guistanel, the city below. There are elements of her body that is being like severely like decayed or like drawn through and like being like destroyed essentially, but then kind of reconstitutes itself, but never to like full strength. Yeah, that's kind of what they ran into. She's also in really regal clothing and like, you know, has like jewelry elements that, especially for that area, display extreme wealth, which clearly do not help her in this case. But yeah.
Yeah, you're describing a standard doorbell. Why is Foos bringing it up?
Yeah, I don't know what her problem is.
That's
the best
what
part
every
about all
doorbell
this,
is.
That's what I have at my house.
yeah, it's I mean, it's the for those who know what's going on, she's very much a warning to any and all. To those, it is the warning going in. Like, if you think you are above the law or you think you can step out of line, this is literally a sorcerer queen who is now being subjugated for the rest of her days. So, it sets the tone.
That's awful, Nanners. That's a terrible, terrible thing.
See, my question is, is the spike removable? Do they have like vanity doorbells? Like just switch it out when they get bored with one?
Silas, switch out the spear again.
Just like changing a ringtone.
All right. So this chat is super broken. I think it might be the actual streaming thing Streamlabs that I'm using. So I'm gonna restart, which means we're gonna glitch and be back. but we'll be right back. Give us 1 second. Pardon us. I do, unfortunately, because I